Hello and welcome. I am Scrapperlock, and this is Soloing the Stalker on City of Heroes. We are with our Stalker, level 35, Dark Phantom. She has about a 500,000 XP to go to get to level 36. We're on the story arc about the Cray from Gordon Stacy, and I did want to show you guys. We did post that one, this thing, and it didn't sell immediately. It eventually sold for 700,000. I'll take it. And now we're just going to continue this Revenant Hero project story arc. We have to defeat 20 Cray. I'm afraid to get rid of this because it's only 20, and I feel like this is going to be one of these missions where after you defeat 20, then you got to defeat 20 or 30 more. Because we're too high a level for it to only be 20, so I think we're going to have to, unless I want to complete this, wait a couple days and complete it again and not do the story arc at all, we're going to have to defeat some Cray. These shouldn't be too hard to find. Like, one of the biggest problems with the street hunts, like, if it was just you could just walk into a zone and they were on every corner, and they were level appropriate, and you could just go in there and, find a level 35 zone that's got Cray on every rooftop, and I could just hop from rooftop to rooftop. Fighting them, I wouldn't care. The problem is they're not on every rooftop, they're not level appropriate, and I have to do too much work to find them, and it's not fun. That part I don't like. But I think the problem with this is it's gonna make me do more after this, so we'll negate the one after this, assuming that that's what happens. There's some more Cray. These guys are all interesting. They're not going to aggro to me, I guess, but I'm aggroing to them. Yeah, I told this story before. I always remember this one guy made one of the funniest posts I've ever read in City of Heroes on the original forums back when I was probably level 25 for the first time. So this is like 2 months into the game. And it was a guy saying these heroes need to be nerfed, something like that. And he wrote from the perspective of a lost in the land of the lost in Skyway City. And he said, I'm just sitting around with my homies with, putting TVs on our heads when this hero aggroed to me from halfway across the zone, right? Like, because he's complaining about the aggro range, right? He aggroed to us from halfway across the zone. We weren't even doing anything. We were just sitting there with TVs on our heads. And he said he took out me and my buddies, like, and all, me and like 2 of my best friends, and he was blue to us. Right? So basically the hero went and attacked a yellow con and a couple of, lieutenant and a couple of minions or whatever. I would be purple to these guys because they're green to me, but a yellow guy, I would theoretically be blue to them. And it was really funny. I remember reading that. Everybody just gave him a bunch of LOLs. We thought it was so hilarious. And it is true. To the villains, we are wildly OP. Like, think what they would think of a stalker. You can't even see them, and all of a sudden you're one-shotted instantly with no warning. Right? That guy had no chance to detect me. 6 to go. I was thinking about, too, when I logged in, the homecoming name, right? Which, in a sense, is almost obsolete now because it's been around for such a long time. But why was it called Homecoming? Because the game had been gone for 7 or 8 years, and now that it's back and we can play it, it really does feel like coming home. This game does feel like home to me. 3 more, and there are 3 of you guys, so I'm aggroing from across, from all the way up on top of the building, and But I am purple to you, so. And I'm sure they would complain that why are the purples aggroing to us? They should just ignore us because we're too low level for them, and they don't even get any XP for it. Like, she didn't even get any XP for this, and she's still aggroed to me. Right? But yeah, I was thinking about the homecoming name, and I was remembering a story from. I was remembering a story from when the game first came back. I had not started playing it yet. I was very cautious about coming into this game, mainly because, downloading the client from wherever, whatever free download site, and it's been mucked around with by just guys on the internet, right? Guys and gals on the internet. I was very concerned about, am I putting malware on my computer? Is this safe? I'm always nervous about that, especially with executable files. So at first I didn't do it. Now once it seemed like there were thousands and thousands of people and everything was fine, and there were enough code monkeys looking at what was going on because the stuff was available and confirming that it was okay. Um, I felt like it was safe, right? And then I did start playing on Homecoming. But before that, I was just reading in Reddit, just reading the stories of people doing stuff. And I remember um, 3 or 4 specific stories. I do remember there was a guy who showed how to do this and was in Atlas Park gaining XP, and he had played City of Heroes in the latter stages, so he knew how to play, but he had played in like 2010 or something, and he was showing how to do control clicking powers. He's playing a blaster and shooting things in Atlas Park, and he was getting bugs, and at that point the mobs were like vanishing and reappearing and stuff. So it could be a little buggy, but I remember watching him do that and going, "All right, I'm gonna have to get this game again," because I love it so much. But there were several other things I distinctly remember in the beginning. Um, just like in the beginning of the game when it first came out, there were a lot of server drops. Oh wow, okay. And do all of these guys have the ability to do Moment of Glory? I hope not. I don't think they all do, but the lieutenants might. Um, wait. Build up. Um, so when you disconnect from the game, the game puts up a little logo that says Map Server Disconnect. And I remember seeing a guy, so people were posting screenshots of COH after they got into it. And so very early on, it might have even been before the Homecoming servers when they were still on the Bree server, which was the original server that first got put up and then taken down after a day or two. Okay, it's not Moment of Glory, it's something else. It's not as bad. There was a screenshot of these guys doing a sewer run, right? This was very popular in the old days in City of Heroes. The sewers are a hazard zone. You can go in, and there's tons and tons of mobs throughout the sewers. And if you go into it in whatever zone, it'll be the level of that zone. So if you go into the Steel Canyon sewers, it's Steel Canyon level enemies, and people are going in there in groups and just wiping them and gaining XP. And these guys were on a sewer run, and somebody had targeted like this one of the members of their group and screenshotted it. And there were all these chats of people in the chats going, oh crap, we're dead now, because the guy had named his character Map Server. And I remember that, and I remember seeing that and absolutely cracking up. I gotta zoom in. So that's one thing I remember. Another thing I remember is somebody talking about being back in City of Heroes for the first time. And he did a sewer run. So he got into a pickup group with a bunch of people, did a sewer run. It was all these people like him who had played City of Heroes before, and they were having an absolute blast and chatting with each other in group chat while they were fighting minions and lieutenants and stuff. And at the end of it, he said he had to go, and as they said goodbye to them, one of the other players said to him, "Welcome home." And he said, "I kind of lost it then," right? Like that he teared up, and because it had been so long since we'd been able to play this game that we loved, and it does feel like home. Oh, you come on. It does feel like home. It is, but I said way back in the beginning, toward the beginning of season 2, it's a comfort game for a lot of us. And it really was a homecoming, which is why they named the servers that they're using, they named their cluster of servers Homecoming. I remember saying, if you just sort of think about it, right? The game shut down in 2012. It came back on these servers in 2019. Heroes come in and they go to Atlas Park to register to be heroes for the first time in 7 or 8 years, right? And I said I can almost imagine the villains of like hanging around Atlas Park, Steel Canyon, all these other places. There haven't been any heroes in 7 years. They think they run the place. They can terrorize all the innocent civilians they want. And then all of a sudden, the heroes are back, and the villains are getting their butts kicked. And you can imagine the villains going, "Wait, we thought we owned this place. We thought the heroes were gone, and now the heroes are back." And I even suggested, but the problem is everybody is in such a rush that nobody wanted to take the time to actually do this and play it out. But when there was a role-playing Discord that showed up. I can't remember what it was called. But I was on that Discord very early on. I went in super early. In fact, I don't remember, but I think I might have actually started using Discord for the first time because of this game. I gotta use Midnight Grasp on these guys because I didn't realize they were all going to go running. What was I saying? Yeah, so we're on the Discord, and they were talking about setting up a roleplay supergroup and all of this. And what I tried to propose was, what if we roleplay that there was some event, something happened that took all the heroes out of Paragon City and kept us away, I don't know, in suspended animation or whatever, for all these years, and now we're back. And I was trying to say, let's come up with some in-character explanation why it's been 7 years since there were heroes in Paragon City, because I thought that would be kind of cool. Several people thought it was an interesting idea, but nobody wanted to take the time. They were all so busy leaping in the game and leveling up to level 10, 15, 20, 25 in the Architect, trying to get to level 50 and do Incarnate Trials, the old school players, right? That nobody really wanted to take the time to slow down and say, let's come up with some sort of a roleplay reason. A roleplay reason why we've all been away for so long and now we're back. The other thing I said was, what if some really powerful villain killed all the heroes? And we're all level 1, right? So now we're starting up again, but the question would be, well, why hasn't there been a chain of heroes that tried to replace them? And I thought it would be cool if all the heroes had been, maybe they all went, and the villains. Remember, there's villains from City of Villains too. So maybe there was some sort of a, cosmic event, a Secret Wars type event, where all of the existing Rogue Isles villains and Paragon City heroes went somewhere else and got locked away. Maybe did something that didn't take that long, but when they came back, 7 years have passed on Earth, right? And that would kind of explain it. Explain where we've been and why the villains have been kind of running roughshod over the city without interference from the heroes for 7 years. And a couple people thought it was a cool idea, but like I said, nobody wanted to slow down enough to actually do it, which I was kind of disappointed in because I thought it'd be kind of cool. Yeah, I was talking last time about how our supergroup had a theme, right? That everybody made up. It ended up not working too well, but it worked at the beginning and then didn't have longevity. The idea was that every one of our main characters had to be an ex-villain, right? And I mentioned a few. The problem is that a lot of people, for their secondary character, like me with Liberty Lass, didn't want to make up another ex-villain. I did that already. And we still wanted to add them to the group so they could team up with us and eventually earn prestige for the supergroup, which allowed us to put stuff in the bases and things like that. And so, yes, I'm just leaving her and attacking this guy for now. So the theme was nice and strong. It was good to start with, and then didn't have a lot of longevity. One of the problems when you have a large group of players, this happened in our Star Wars: The Old Republic game too, is everybody has different interests, right? And so it's very hard to get a group of players who are all friends and decide as friends we want to play a game together, and then have them all agree on a theme for your group, right? So even in Star Wars: The Old Republic, right, half of us wanted to play the Sith side, and half of us wanted to play the Republic side, and so we had to do both. So we had to have this over guild, like the guild ran both sides, and then so like the one guy was leader of the whole guild, and then I was leader of the Republic side. We were the Shield of Dawn, and then the guild leader's wife was the head of the Sith side, and they were the Cloak of Shadow. And so we basically had two guilds or sub-guilds of a guild, right? And there were a lot of, there were people who weren't. I wanted to create. Initially, I said let's create a group of Jedi, but not everybody wanted to play a Jedi, right? So then I said, okay, well let's create a Republic group, but not everybody wanted to play in the Republic side. And most of us had characters on both sides, but were more heavily working one side or the other. And just like in City of Heroes, people like to be good guys. The Shield of Dawn had a lot more activity than the Cloak of Shadow. And I know that actually really frustrated the husband and wife team because they were more interested in the Sith side. And when we had roleplay events on the Shield of Dawn side, we would get 8 or 10 people showing up, and on the Cloak side, it was me and the husband and the wife, maybe one other person, right? My bounty hunter and the husband and wife. And so, it was frustrating to them that they couldn't get as much activity. But I don't think we had enough people. And this is what I tried to say at the beginning. I don't know if we have enough people to maintain activity in two guilds. There were only maybe 15 of us. And so then the response was, well, let's recruit. Let's get more people onto the guild. And, well, that sounds nice. We could do that. But how am I missing with this much probability of hitting? We could just recruit random people, but the problem with that is that now we're not playing with friends. Right now the purpose of the guild is to get bigger and be a guild rather than to be a place where a bunch of existing friends from Star Wars Galaxies and City of Heroes and other games we used to play can all get together and enjoy each other, right? And so ultimately what happened after about 6 months is that the husband and wife team got frustrated enough that they decided to stop playing, and they switched to playing Secret World. And I was left to run everything. So I had to run both guilds, and one of the first things I did was I mothballed the Sith side. And people complained about it. They didn't like it. And I said, well, look, nobody stepped up. I asked for volunteers. Would anybody like to take over? No one stepped up to do it. there were two players. The one leader was really ticked off at them. It was another husband and wife team, and they were playing the Republic side as a Jedi Master and his Padawan, and they were playing very slowly. They were like, we want to experience every bit of the story. We don't want to rush through. So I can totally respect that, right? But I didn't rush through, and I was already like, say, 40th level, 43rd level or something, and they were still in the 20s. And they said they didn't want to go Sith side until they were finished with all the Republic side stuff. So they were going to do the Jedi. One was a consular, and one was um, a guardian or whatever. And they were doing those two storylines together. Then they were going to go Sith side, right? And so they were like, we'll get there eventually. Meanwhile, 6 months go by, and they haven't shown up for a single red side, as we called it, Sith side roleplay session because they don't have Sith characters, right? So I remember the leader of the guild and the husband from the husband and wife team who was one of who quit. He said, yeah, these two were part of the problem, right? There were so many players who only would do one side and not the other. Now, I mean, I had a bounty hunter as well as a Jedi. The Jedi was my main character, and I was the leader of the Blue Side Guild, the Republic Guild, so I had to be active on it. But I still played my bounty hunter. When my Jedi got to level 50, right, my bounty hunter was in the 20s. It wasn't like I didn't play him at all. I just didn't play him as much, and he certainly showed up for the roleplay sessions. But these other people didn't, and so there just wasn't any activity on the red side, and nobody wanted to take over. And I said, I can't really run both. So I mothballed. I remember this. I mothballed the Cloak of Shadows, and when that happened, the husband and wife, not the wife generally didn't say anything, but the husband that refused to play red side made this long post critical of it and saying that I didn't do enough to keep it active, and that he was so disappointed because he was looking forward to someday playing on that side. And the husband from the husband and wife team that was running the thing got on and made a very he was normally very diplomatic, but he got on and was like, okay, I'm not going to sit for this. And he actually sent me a private message and said, you're the guild leader, you can't make this post, I'm going to make it. And he said, you are one of the problems. You never played on that side. There was no activity on that side. You knew there was no activity on that side. You didn't play on that side. And now you're complaining that we're retiring it because there's no activity on that side. You're the problem. And then there was a big fight, and the two of them quit the guild, the two that were just level 20 or whatever. In the end, it wasn't long before the guild ended up being completely mothballed because the activity just wasn't there. People weren't showing up. I tried this whole like storyline where I almost GMing something where it was a quest, and I had different parts to the quest. And the first night, a bunch of people showed up, and then they had to do like research or whatever and do different steps, and then they were going to get together and report their findings. And then nobody contacted me to do the research. And when we got together, only the one person who had done the research showed up, and nobody else did, and it just fizzled. Right? And so this is the thing, guys. If you're going to have a guild leader who's working that hard to keep things active, you have to show up. Or else you can't get mad when the guild leader says, okay, I give up and I'm going to stop. Now, why am I stalking this mission? I don't know. I just busy talking and I started stalking. I thought there'd be a boss in here with all the word balloons. This is weak. Just minions. So, in case you missed in the previous episode, I did mention my plan is after the next level, when I get a couple of slots and put enhancements where I need them, we're going to move up to +2. Hopefully that will work and it won't aggravate me too much. Okay, now, There was a spot down there on the level below with a bunch of red lieutenants, and that is interesting, so I'm going to go grab that. We're going to go do those. Because there are a couple of them together, and so that presents a little bit of a challenge tactically. Right, were they over here? Can't remember where they were. No, they were on the other side. Okay. I like to make sure that I've got the mission goals done before I do extra stuff like this. But yeah, this is one of the reasons why Stalkers are so nice, because you can choose how to do it. So this is a really tough spot here, because these guys will aggro to each other. Let's clean these other guys out first. Turn sprint off. Let's root this person so they don't fly. Okay, so that's good. Look at that, she's got me floored for Moment of Glory. This is a minion doing Moment of Glory. Wow. And I don't have any auto hit powers or anything like that. I could placate her, I guess. That would get her to leave me alone. And I can just go hit this guy. Let's root this guy. Missed him. Look at this. On 75%. Miss, miss. Alright, I'm gonna wait. Oh, okay, well, he did that. That's just all pain. So this is one of these where you kind of have to wait for your assassination and your build-up and your placate and stuff to recharge in order to avoid the annoyances. And I think there was another guy on the other side here. Wasn't there? I thought there was. Maybe not. It's just these guys. Alright, this is going to probably have to be one where we go and leave and come back. We'll see how much I can get them to... how much damage I can do to them before they do annoying stuff. Where's the... okay, there's... all of them are there? Okay, let's placate. Oh, he momented of glory. Try to finish this guy off before he does anything, and we'll just exit the mission. I'm not going to wait for that guy. Okay. So let's call up Stacy, and now that we've located the crate facility, take it out. Alright. This is going to be fun. We're going to have a bunch of Cray Paragon Protector bosses, I think. Oh, switch jumps. Cray's Folly is such a monotonous zone. I understand what they're trying to do here with it, but I feel like they could have made it more interesting. I mean, the Freak Show town over here is kind of cool, but the rest of it is just so monotonous. And I understand it's a hazard zone. There was a radiation accident here. Okay, sure. But having a giant zone that's literally all the same tile set, I feel like they could have done better. If you're going to just have it be one tile set, make it half that size. There's really no reason to do that. Boss. Okay. Who's going to moment of glory on me? Probably the boss. Let's see what we can do here. So my strategy now has been hold the build up if we can. Do the initial assassination. Let's try for some extra damage on that. And then we're going to just pound this guy and try to get him down enough. Placate. Build up. Did I get him? Got him. No moment of glory. Not too bad. I feel like only a Stalker could do that, because the Placate and the Assassin Strike is what takes him down enough that he... Because if you even leave him with a Sliver, he's going to moment of glory and you're hosed. Okay. So we need to shut down the Cray Lab for good. My guess is that means defeat everybody. And since we stalked out of their mission, I guess that's fine. Notice how still. This is like, is that the second runner? I miss on Midnight Grasp and then they run. It really, really does feel like once they start being a runner, they become impossible to hit. Or at least very difficult to hit. Probably it's just, I notice it because it's annoying. Why are there white? Okay. It's not a defeat all if there are white cons. Like, that's just a waste of my time. You guys are white cons? Well, I'm not going to bother with white cons. Yeah, I'll come back and get him if I have to, but to me, anything under yellow is just not even worth it. Yeah, no thanks, guys. I don't know why you're white cons, but you are beneath my notice. Okay, what did I miss? Besides defeating these guys. Oh, go down this way? No, there's nothing down this way. Where's the elevator? Over here? Nope, this is clear. Where did I miss? Ah! Okay. This door. I didn't go down this way. I didn't realize that. Okay, now we're talking. I don't know why the other guys are white. That's more like it. Oh, I forgot that it reveals everything, not just that level. Oh well. That's the elevator, so let's do this one first. Because we're going to have to come back anyway. Another boss. Okay. Let's clean these guys out and then come back for them, because we have to come back anyway. Why? Because if Paragon Protector starts running around and I have to chase him and he comes in here, I don't want to have to chase him through a bunch of other mobs. So to me, the best thing to do is clean out from here. And then when we fight the boss, there are no adds, right? Additional enemies, extra aggro as we call it. All right. Where'd they go? Oh, okay. I was like, did they vanish? Okay, I don't need to wait because we're going to start without build-up first. This guy didn't aggro. That might have been too early. Yep, it was way too early if he's going to dull pain. Yep. Okay. Let's ignore that. And then we'll leave this guy alone. Because I'm pretty sure... Where'd he go? Did he run him back? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that... We'll check it, but I'm pretty sure it's... I'm floored. Yeah. So it's not worth it. At some point, he will stop following me. Let's see, can I hit you yet? Oh, okay. Alright, so this is one of these rooms. Interesting. Okay, no, this isn't the room I thought it was. Never mind. Okay. I thought it was one of the rooms that had the 2 levels with, like, I don't know, 7 or 8 different spawns worth of enemies. I was probably going to bypass that because it's just so many. But this is not too bad. So we need to shut the lab down. I'm not sure what that means. Like, is it defeat all? Or in which case we're going to have to go back and pick up those white cons. Or is it to click on a glowy? I don't remember. Or is it just to defeat one of the, like, Uber Protect? I think there's just a doctor, right? I think that's true. Dr. So-and-so, who's the guy running the program. And is a Cray Protector or Paragon Protector or one of these. And you just have to defeat him. I think that's true. I could be wrong. That's definitely true of something, but I don't remember which Cray story arc it is. It might be the Countess Cray one. My house smells like a bakery. I baked some blondies today. You know, it's really funny. I know what blondies are. I'd heard of them. I mean, I know what they are, but I don't know that I ever had one until fairly recently. I've had lots of brownies, but my mom, I don't remember my mom ever making blondies. I don't feel like I ever bought one at a store or anything like that. And I started watching with my nephews the Kids Baking Championship with Valerie Bertinelli and this baker named this baking whatever sort of master chef or whatever named Duff Goldman, and apparently Duff has this really yummy blondie recipe, which one of the kids actually made his recipe, and to see if he would recognize it, and he did. And so it sounded good, you know. And I don't actually have Duff's recipe because his recipe calls for a little bit more work than I want to do with the brown butter and all this stuff. But I found a blondie recipe online, I don't remember where, that was quite easy. And I made them, oh, I don't know, about 6 months ago, and I love them. And so now I actually might like blondies better than brownies. Because you make them with brown sugar, and I love brown sugar, so. They're very similar. If you put chocolate chips in them, they're very similar to a chocolate chip cookie in taste and consistency. And I like chocolate chip cookies, so can't go wrong with that. So my house smells like a bakery because I just made them. And you know, it's really funny. I don't know if I've mentioned this before. I don't think so. So I have a microwave oven, and there's a button you can push to run the quote-unquote vent of the microwave oven. And there's an intake on the bottom of it with like a filter screen, and it pulls stuff up, right? For years, I've lived in this house since 2013, 2026. For years, when I was cooking something smelly like onions or whatever, I would turn that vent on to suck the smell up, and I assumed that this thing was connected to the outside somehow through the cabinet behind it or something. And I don't know, I probably looked in that cabinet and there's no pipe or anything. I just assumed, right? I didn't really think anything of it. So one day I was doing something and I had it on, and I reached over the microwave oven and I felt this brush of air on my hands. And it turns out that what that vent is doing, I can't figure what the purpose would be, is taking the air from under the microwave oven, i.e. right above the stove, because this is one of these that's above the stove, and it's blowing it to the top of the microwave oven up toward the ceiling. I'm like, what good is that doing? That's distributing the smell further around the house. That's not helping. So here I thought I registered that whenever I made something that was smelly, the house still was smelly. And I just figured it would have even been worse if I didn't turn the vent on. But that vent doesn't do anything. All it does is blow the air from the stove up to the ceiling, right? In the same room. So it's not doing anything. It's kind of funny. Man, I just love as a stalker how you can just stealth your way through everything and just kick butt. So again, notice how the guys above me detected me and started shooting at me. So the City of Heroes NPCs look down, but they don't seem to look up. So if you attack guys below them, they might see you. If you attack guys above them, they generally don't. They will sometimes, but it's not super common. Come on. It's the second time I missed that assassin strike. Third time. Three times in a row I missed that thing. So this is going to lead us to the next level. And this is the final level. And my guess is the villain is right there. Let's see if I'm right. There's a boss. There's another boss. Ooh. That's going to be a tough room. But I don't know if that's the boss. I feel like the villain should be named. I hear a glowy. Yeah, this is just minions in here. Are you kidding me with this? And that's just a minion that could do that to me. So yeah, I definitely think we need focused accuracy. We've got to improve our 2-hit. So I hear a glowy. That means the glowy will be in this room, up against the wall to the south, so somewhere over here. I know we have those 2 purple guys. We're probably going to need overload for that. Ah, here's the main boss. Okay. So this room has pods in it, and this is where they're building the Paragon Protectors. This is not original to the game, this room. They did not have this when the game first came out, but it's very cool. Alright, we're going to clear these guys out, and then I think... Oh, we got other guys too. Alright, let's be systematic. Let's do this the right way. Which is to clean the outside, break the perimeter, get all the ads, the extra aggro out of here. At least I call it the correct way. This is the way I do it. Correct way for me. I'm sure other people do it other ways. And if you're a tanker, you might just dive in. And if you're years ago, if you were an invulnerability tanker, you would run around the room collecting aggro by taunting everybody with your taunt field, and then you'd run and fight the boss while everybody surrounded you, and the boss wouldn't be able to hit you because you get like +5 or 10 defense or whatever for every guy next to you, and you have 8 guys around you, gives you +40 defense, and the arch villain can't hit you, and you just leave them around you while you're fighting the boss. So you would do this a different way years ago when you were playing an invincibility tanker, but we're a Stalker, and I don't even think you can do invincibility that way anymore because I think they nerfed it to Kingdom Come. Those guys do a lot of damage when they hit. Okay, let's get this box. Okay. Dr. Summerfield. He is not a Paragon Protector, so he will be trivial. As you see, no problem. I don't know if there's another glowy to click on. Nope. Alright, so that finishes the mission. We get our reward merits. How many do we have now? We have 642, guys. We're halfway. We have enough for one of the two ATOs. We're not going to get it yet. Two reasons. One, I'm not sure which power I want to put it onto. And, well, I guess we could put it on Smite and Shadow Maul. I don't know if it's going to be worth putting it on an Assassin's Eclipse. I'm going to have to look at what they do. We wanted another accuracy on Shadow Punch. We could put that in there right now, for now. And then bump that up when we get to 37. Or when we get it. I do have other accuracy, these guys, accuracy generic enhancers. And we could put that in there for now. That'll get build up down to 45 seconds. We don't need any of the rest of this stuff. I'm not going to bother upgrading this because we're just going to put... Well, yeah, I guess we could. Let's do that because I don't know that I have recipes for damage. So we may as well bump some of this up. Alright. Okay, so we finished the mission, but now we want to go fight these guys. The problem with Energize is going to be that if these guys go into MOG, which they will, I think there's going to be virtually no chance that I'm going to be able to stop them. If I've got two of them in MOG, by the time it comes down, Energize might be lapsed because it only goes 3 minutes. Much as I want to be a Stalker here, these are too close. I think I'm going to have to pull this guy and hope that they don't both come. And we're going to go with inspirations here a little bit, but not too much. Just say take this guy out. Okay, so now we're going to fight the boss. I don't mind if you go there, but don't go any further into the room, okay? Try to Midnight Grasp him and see if we can hold him. Okay. We're holding off on build up until I feel like I might have a shot. Okay, placate. He's gonna make me show myself. Let's see if we can get him. Not enough. Nope. Not enough, and that's why I didn't hit Energize right away, because we're gonna have to wait now. So I'm gonna go up the elevator. I'll pause it here, and when I feel like he's probably I'll time like a minute and a half, and then I'll go down and get him, and I'll unpause it and bring you guys back. All right, folks, it's been a minute and a half, so let's go down and see if he's hittable. We are hidden. I should be able to one-shot him. Let's hope so. Got him. Okay, let's back off. Okay. I'm going to assassinate this guy and get him off the board. We can't. We're going to have to, like, basically be scrappers against the other guy for now. I remember one time when I was fighting one of these guys with Silver Phoenix, he popped MOG and I popped Elude, and I was like, okay, buddy, you know, 1 for 1, and we just both stood there whiffing each other. Can I get him? Got him! No moment of glory. So that's the easy way to do that. I guess. The hard way would have been dive in, fight both purple bosses at once. Yeah, if they didn't go into Moment of Glory, I probably would have been willing to do it. But Moment of Glory is just so annoying. All right, we're going to get XP here and finish this story arc. And that's it, guys. We've finished the story arc, and I will find another one for us. In the meantime, we have stuff to sell and some salvage, right? Oh, we got an orange salvage. I don't know. Where am I going? I have no idea. Let's go to the base. So let's see. We have some orange salvage we can get rid of. Put in here. Up to 52 now. I have very little salvage because I dumped almost all of it. So let's see. We have accuracy, we have defense buff, we have endurance reduction, we don't really need that. Fear hold, we don't need that. Resist damage we could use. So what do we need? Rune, improved cybernetic, and alchemical silver. Okay, I'm pretty sure there's rune in here, because I'm pretty sure I dumped it off just yesterday. Rune. Let's take a couple. Was it improvised cybernetic? And alchemical silver. Okay, so we don't have any of that in there. You know what would be really nice? If you could tag it so that this table can draw and salvage from any rack. That would be nice. I don't know if we have alchemical silver. We might have used it all up. I do have a bunch of salvage that I can check. It's all alphabetized, so there we go. Okay. So now we should be able to make those. Accuracy. Resist damage. And defense buff. Those are level 40s though, so we can't use them yet. We don't really need anything, right? Yeah, we'll just put it all in for now. And sell the rest. Alright guys, I hope you have enjoyed. We're halfway, more than halfway to level 36. At that point, I'll put more slots in, add more accuracy, and then we're going to try +2s. I don't want to wait till 38 when we get focus accuracy. I want to start at 36, and then we'll just, as we level up, we'll just hopefully keep getting better and more accurate, and buffing ourselves up. Until next time, guys, I am Scrapperlock, and this has been City of Heroes, soloing the Stalker.